from Fox 26. The News Edge at 10 starts now.
I'm Caitlin Monty, and we start with Hurricane Delta, which is now in the northern Caribbean. We are your Gulf Coast Weather Authority, so our Dr. Jim Siebert is tracking what threat Delta now poses to the Gulf Coast. Obviously, us here in Houston, not looking to see it come this way, but Dr. Jim, I know there are some along our Gulf Coast who appear to be right in the track at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and anytime we have a hurricane that's going to move into the Gulf of Mexico, we're going to be watching it closely and keeping an eye on it. So let's get right to it. So it was a tropical storm today, but Delta became a hurricane just before 9 o'clock this evening, our time. Winds are now up to 75 miles per hour. And what we really know is that it is going to take that right-hand turn. The computer models have been on this since the very beginning, and we don't expect it to change all that much. We're going to talk more about that when we get to the forecast. But as far as our weather headlines, we have great weather that's going on locally, and that is one of the reasons why it's going to be steering that away from us. We're going to talk about the timing on Delta and also the impacts, if any, and I do think they will be mainly on the slight side, but it's all coming up in the Fox Red forecast.
I'm sorry that we couldn't get this team over the hump. We couldn't get it over the hump last year, the year before, but and obviously early on this year. But it wasn't from lack of effort. We did win 4 division championships here that we're very proud of. Won 4 division championships in 6 years. So we did a lot of good things here, but we didn't do enough. We didn't bring a Super Bowl to Houston, which I believe eventually someone will. I think this is a championship team that needs to get things turned around right now, but I believe in this team.
Words from Bill O'Brien, now fired as head coach and general manager of the Houston Texans following an 0-4 start this season. He's been with them since 2014 when he replaced Gary Kubiak. The Texans went with a familiar face for his temporary replacement, at least temporary for now. Sports director Mark Berman has more on the Texans' new coach. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Caitlin, with Bill O'Brien being fired, Texans chairman and CEO Cal McNair named associate head coach Romeo Crennel his interim head coach. Crennel is no stranger to the big chair. He's been a head coach in the NFL twice with the Cleveland Browns from 2005 to 2008 and with the Chiefs in 2011 and 2012. He didn't have a lot of success as a head coach, but he has a legendary defensive mind, winning 5 Super Bowls as an assistant coach, 3 with the Patriots as defensive coordinator. McNair says it was an easy call to turn to Romeo.
That was an easy one. Romeo's, I've gotten to know Romeo over the last several years since he's been here. He's a wonderful person, wonderful coach. Players love him. They'll rally around him. And we got a lot of season left, and we have a lot of good players, a good roster. And this gives us a really good chance of turning things around. And first thing we've got to do is focus on Sunday.
This is a good football team. Romeo step in. He's an awesome coach, and he'll do a great job.
Next up for Romeo and the Texans, Jacksonville on Sunday at NRG Stadium. Mark Berman, Fox 26 Sports.
Thanks, Mark. The Astros are up 1-0 in the ALDS, beating the A's 10-5 at Dodger Stadium, a neutral site for a best-of-5 series. Carlos Correa just dominating in the postseason. Same with Alex Bregman, who has homered in games played on October 5th for 4 straight years. Game 2 of the ALDS is tomorrow at 3:30. Well, we are continuing to follow the deadly building collapse in West Houston. Our Tiffany Justice live still at the scene where fire crews are still inside. Tiffany?
Right, Caitlin, crews have been inside of the building for the past hour or so. We do know that the bodies of the 3 construction workers are still inside and buried under all of that rubble. We have been told the recovery process could be a very short one tonight or a very long one taking several days. But we have also been told that the building has been deemed stable enough for those crews to be inside of that building right now, and they are not in any jeopardy of that building coming down on them. Now, this first broke around 1:30 today. Houston Fire saying a newly installed stairwell led to the death of those 3 construction workers. 240 construction workers were on the job today, all accounted for, but they also do want to make sure no one else is in that rubble. Houston Assistant Fire Chief Ray Lozano has confirmed 3 dead, and 1 had to be rescued from that rubble with minor injuries.
Anytime there's a primary collapse, there's always danger of a secondary collapse. Right now, the danger seems to be surrounding around the perimeter of the stairwell. So it's not like we're worried about the whole building collapse. We're worried about sections of that same stairwell that collapsed the first time, that there's still other areas of a higher stairs to collapse.
investigators are also looking into what exactly caused that stairwell to come crashing down on those construction workers. Their names are known at this point from a company roster. We will keep you updated at all times. Reporting live, Tiffany Justice, Fox 26 News.
Tiffany, thank you. A family got more time to keep their 10-month-old on life support at Texas Children's Hospital. Baby Nick has been declared brain dead, but his family got another 48 hours to submit additional evidence on why they believe he should be kept alive. President Donald Trump is back at the White House. He finished his treatment at home, or will be finishing it at home, removing his mask for a photo op almost right away once he arrived. He still has mild symptoms and likely is still transmissible.
And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune, I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there, be careful. We have the best medicines in the world.
But people are noticing this moment, saying he appears to be breathing very heavily, wondering if he's gasping for air, whether he's in pain from his diagnosis. His doctors did make clear they are still monitoring him, as symptoms could sometimes get worse. The White House is contact tracing everyone who'd been near the president in recent days before he tests positive, but they're not going to go back to that big event 10 days ago in the Rose Garden, the day the president named his Supreme Court pick. Several people who were there, quite a few at this point, have now tested positive. Vice presidential debate is still on for Wednesday. The candidates will be 12 feet apart. They're going to have plexiglass divider on the stage. 80 students will be in attendance, but all must test negative before entry. The next presidential debate is in Miami and will depend on how the president's doing, though Joe Biden says he's still game if the president is able. Houston's COVID-19 positivity rate keeps trending downward. You can see it very clearly now, 5.3%. That's the lowest since health officials started tracking the virus. Governor Abbott tweeting this gif of beers clinking, saying low COVID numbers mean he'll be announcing more reopenings soon. Obviously, many people think he's referring to bars, which have been shut down statewide for months. 9 New York City neighborhoods might get shut back down again. Their mayor is concerned because their positivity rates rose and then have stayed above 3% for a week straight.
As a parent, I'm so fatigued. Like with the back and forth, it's just like whatever. Like it almost doesn't matter anymore. Just like, okay, the next thing, we'll deal with it.
We just opened back up again. It's going to be detrimental. It's going to make it hard for the customers. It's going to make it hard for the stylists.
You know, it's very hard to get back on your feet, or they're going to end up closing.
As of tonight, Los Angeles is shutting off utilities at homes of repeat house party offenders. Throwing big gatherings without pandemic protocols, police can now get water and power shut off within 48 hours for the property. The NFL has new COVID protocols, like a video monitoring system that will watch for PPE use. They're also banning gatherings outside of team facilities, and breaking the rules can get you a pretty hefty fine or even have your game forfeited. The CDC says that COVID can spread through the air more than 6 feet, but mainly in instances of closed indoor spaces with poor ventilation. The latest update since their draft got posted suggesting that it could linger in the air to get you sick. Northwestern looked at 500 COVID-19 patients, and for every 5 cases, about 4 had neurological symptoms. Almost half had muscle pain and/or headaches. About 1 or 2 in 5 end up with loss of taste or loss of smell. A protest in East Texas as the family of a Dallas man shot dead by police says that he had been trying to break up a fight. An update tonight on Jonathan Price from the Dallas area of Wolf City.
I love my son, and I try to bring him up to do the right thing. And the last few days.
Jonathan Price's father breaking down ahead of a Monday night vigil for his son, shot and killed Saturday by a Wolf City police officer outside a convenience store.
The town's devastated. He was a very, very well-liked young man.
Price's relatives, who describe him as a model citizen who worked for the city, say he was trying to break up an argument between a man and a woman when the officer pulled up. His family says the officer may have thought the 2 men were fighting. A taser was deployed and then the officer fired shots. Price was reportedly hit multiple times, but none of that has come directly from investigators. So far, Wolf City Police only releasing a short statement on Facebook saying the unnamed officer is on administrative leave pending an investigation by the Texas Rangers. The Hunt County Sheriff's Office also assisting the investigation.
We want to have access to the information that they have. Right now, everything that we've heard is based on rumor and innuendo.
The family's civil rights attorney is calling for the officer's arrest and says he will be talking with the Hunt County DA's office. He says his investigators have found there is surveillance video of the incident from the convenience store, a copy forwarded to the Texas Rangers.
We want to see a copy of the video. We want to see the official police reports, which we haven't seen yet. We want the officer officially named.
In the meantime,
there's a big concern about outside groups.
Concern in Wolf City as people descend on the small, tight-knit town where it seems most get along.
I hope it goes safe. I hope everybody that comes into this town realizes that we're a strong community and we're backing black, white. I mean, there's no color difference in this town.
A Pennsylvania court says that smelling marijuana does not give police a right to search a car without a warrant. They say that it is not indicative of a criminal act just because you can smell the aroma. Black drapery over the door and the seats of the Supreme Court chamber honoring late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Our highest court started a new session today. Virtually, the future of Obamacare is among the biggest issues they're about to hear argued. UPS will be increasing shipping fees for some holiday shipments, surcharges for items by weight or by shipping date, and whether a customer ships a lot of packages. But reportedly, it's not going to impact those shipping smaller items. And that is our rundown. If you have thoughts, you can tweet me. You know you can tweet me. You know that if there's something you think we missed, you can tweet me. I'll be checking as soon as we go to break. But coming up, we have a big breakdown on the DARE program. You probably went through it in school or your children did, why it went away, and why one district is bringing it back in our area. Plus, we still have Coco. Hey, Coco.
Hi, it's Coco Dominguez, and Astros postseason is in full swing, so if you've got love for the Astros and you've got love for your partner, have you ever considered saying I do at Minute Maid Park? No pressure, but I've got all of the details coming up in just a few minutes with Astros elopements on the Bayou City Buzz.
Your smile of the day is 73-year-old Mick Fleetwood. Yes, as of Fleetwood Mac, taking on the Dreams Challenge that was started by skateboarder Nathan Apodaca. His video went viral on TikTok. Mick says dreams and cranberry just kind of hit different. Well, today the Houston Police Department announced a partnership with the largest school district in Houston, largest in the state. They're bringing back DARE, the anti-drug program that many of us had in school in the 80s and 90s. And tonight we break down why DARE sort of fell off the map and why it will look much different than what most of us remember.
We were recently presented the opportunity to bring DARE classroom curriculum back into Houston, and that was just an unbelievable opportunity.
For police officers to start talking with children instead of talking at them.
The DARE program was founded by police and teachers in LA in the early 80s, a product of the US-led global war on drugs. Police would come to schools to teach a zero-tolerance, just say no approach to drug use, and soon 3 in 4 public schools were using it across the country. But a lot of studies have questioned its effectiveness. In 1992, Indiana University found students who took DARE were more likely using hallucinogenic drugs. 1994, the Justice Department funds the first national study on DARE and finds little, if any, reduction in drug or alcohol use. In 1995, the California Department of Education says that it doesn't work and that a lot of students actually end up resenting the presentations and police. 1998, research finds DARE graduates were more likely to drink, smoke, or use drugs and suggest ditching the lecture format. Turns out, standing in front of elementary and middle schoolers and teaching them a lot of facts about drugs just ended up triggering their curiosity. By 1999, a 10-year study study found no effectiveness to the current program, and by 2001, the Surgeon General of the United States labels DARE ineffective. In 2017, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions makes the case for DARE to make a comeback because the program was different. They had brought in behavioral experts. Now it's not about zero tolerance. It's not even just about drugs. The program is about decision making.
How to resist peer pressure, stay off drugs, relate better to officers, and that's something that we desperately need nowadays, and ultimately become better, stronger, more positive members of society.
Newer studies on the new curriculum appear to show that it's working at both drug prevention and reduction. And yes, police still very much play a role in bringing the program into schools.
Here's what we need to do, not only as HGISD Police Department, but as a community to rebuild the community's trust and our parents and staff's trust in the police department.
I think there's a perception problem, not a policing problem. There are many people that look at police officers as being the enemy when they're not. And oftentimes there are some police officers that look at our children and think that they're bad when they're not. If only we had good dialogue.
Dr. Jim, it'll be interesting to see how the program works now with the new focus, as we just heard, on the relationship between police and community being so much in the spotlight now.
I remember growing up with all this, and it actually, I thought it made a difference where I lived. So hopefully it does, because, you know, anything that will work is worth trying at this point. All right, well, what's worth trying right now is our weather. It's been fantastic out there, and I realize we have some storms to talk about, but our weather is just beautiful, and I love it. So let's talk about the problems, okay? The problems are out there in the Gulf, but they're not there yet. We're really talking about the Caribbean. Now, earlier today, Gamma was a tropical storm in the Gulf, but it kind of fell apart, and you can see there by Cozumel, it's actually on the Gulf side of Mexico now. But Delta is the problem. It became a Category 1 hurricane today, winds at 75 miles per hour. Now it's up to 80 miles per hour, so we did just get the 10 o'clock update from the National Hurricane Center. Now expected to become a Category 3 hurricane as early as tomorrow night. So that's not good. And then also you see how it's a Category 3 Wednesday and Thursday, which is also not good news there. As we come on in, though, notice that it does drop down to a Category 2 because there's a lot of dry air, not only over here, but also in Louisiana. And my heart goes out to everybody in Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi who are going to be dealing with yet another hurricane. And it's quite clear this time that the upper level winds and how everything is in place, we're pretty sure where this is going. And it's one of those cases where from the beginning to end, we're not having as many questions as we've had on some of the other storms. But as it does get closer to us, and by the way, the upper level winds are still racing from southwest to northeast, especially in the northern parts of the Gulf of Mexico where the storm will go. So until then, our weather's going to be nice. Now, I do think we will see elevated tides Thursday, Friday, possibly some coastal flooding, and that would be about it. Maybe a sprinkle by Thursday, but not tomorrow, not Wednesday, even most of the day Thursday, it's going to be pretty nice. Your 7-day forecast, so we're going to continue to watch the Gulf carefully. We could see along the coast some showers, possibly Thursday, Friday, and we're talking briefly, because I think for the most part, we're going to see nice weather here, just possibly some coastal issues. And don't forget to download our Fox 26 weather app, because whether we're tracking the next cold front that's coming from the north, or we're tracking what's happening out in the Gulf of Mexico, you'll be the first to know if we have any of those changes in the forecast. And it really is instantaneous. When we get an update from the National Hurricane Center, it is immediately on the app.
Hi, it's Coco Dominguez, and the pandemic shut everything down this year, right? Including wedding plans. Tonight I talked to a Houston couple who initially planned to get married at spring training, but now they're moving the party to Minute Maid Park.
We are so thrilled to be bringing events back to the ballpark, and there were so many events during the summer that people weren't able to go through with, and it especially hit wedding season. And one thing we thought that we could safely bring back in our private events was some elopement packages and get some couples in the ballpark to have a unique experience and create some vows. It's a unique way to get in the venue and see it from a different standpoint.
There are 3 options available.
You can come in and either go to the Union Station rooftop on the 6th floor, the Michelob Ultra Club, which is one of our new renovated areas that fans really haven't gotten to take a look at yet, are at home plate.
The Diamond Package will run you $4,000 and will take place at the Union Station rooftop. The Home Run Package runs $5,000 and is held at the Michelob Ultra Club. The Grand Slam Package, $6,000, and your ceremony will be held on home plate.
The package comes with 2 hours that you get to stay in the venue, 10 guests so that we can all stay safe and socially distanced, and then there's add-ons. So if you want to do dinner at the ballpark, or the champagne toast, or personalized jerseys, those are all options that we can talk about.
Sandra and Casey, Houstonians who are set to take advantage of the Astros elopements March 2021, say most of their relationship has been centered around the Astros.
Our first date actually was August 5th, 2017 to Minute Maid to watch the Astros.
One things that was in common that we loved was the Astros.
Even their engagement took place at Minute Maid Park.
What I did was I involved her 4 kids, and I each gave them a baseball, and it had 4 words on it. It says, "Will you marry him?"
I was in shock. It was awesome. I didn't have any idea about it.
Their initial wedding plans included spring training.
It's kind of funny because last year we were actually planning to go to spring training, and we were going to have a private ceremony on the beach at West Palm. So we had tickets and we had everything situated, and then the virus came.
So you're only allowed to pick 10 people for this wedding. Do you plan to continue the party after or have maybe a different?
Oh, absolutely.
Most definitely. It'll probably end up here.
Right there in the Astros room.
Right.
Congratulations to all of the lovebirds out there, and this might be a perfect time to do it. I'm just saying. It's Coco Dominguez reporting from home. Go Astros, Fox 26 News.
Isaiah joining me now to take it away. And Isaiah, we have a lot of big news to talk about for a Monday.
Absolutely, Caitlin. We're talking about President Trump being released from the hospital after spending the weekend at Walter Reed. Also, big news right here in the city of Houston. Bill O'Brien is out, and we have some sports journalists who are celebrating. And finally, also coming up on The Factor Uncensored, we're going to say goodbye temporarily to Regal Cinema here in the Houston area and around the country because of the movie business. That's coming your way right now here on The Factor.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts